I don't know if I'm live. I don't know if I can be heard. I'm just doing this for a giggle. Anyway, hello. My name is Dan. Um, before I launch in on this little think about what the phrase free speech means, I wanted to give respect to the following people: Natalie Wynn, ContraPoints, the incredible lady that does Philosophy Tube. Who else? I think that's probably enough for now. I don't know if you can hear me or not. The washing machine's going in the background, but let's see what we see. Let's see what comes out of this. Look, today, Dan Wootton of GB News, and I believe Lawrence Fox as well, they both got into some trouble for speaking fairly horrifically in public about a news reporter that works for Politics Joe. Okay, shout out to Politics Joe. I really respect what they do. Anyway, and I know that there are people who are going to be out there on the internet screaming about these two men and saying this is a free speech issue. They shouldn't be in trouble. They are using their free speech to express opinion and so forth. I just wanted to have a think about what free speech currently is, and what I think potentially it could be to be better. Anyway, what free speech currently seems to be is this: everybody has the right to say anything with no angry comeback from the recipient of what the conversation was about or anything. So it sounds awful, but it's like I have a right to say the N-word. I have a right to be appalling about Jews if I want to. And I don't think I have. I think that's all appalling. But apparently the free speech argument is that it is the right of anybody to say absolutely anything. Whether it's true, whether it's false, whether it's slanderous, whether it is defamatory. I'm just going to do the washing machine, one tick. Okay, much better. Anyway, so yes, free speech in its current form seems to be my right to say whatever I like, whether it's true or false or defamatory or incitement to violence or anything. So I don't know. Okay, during the COVID pandemic, there were people who went along and did the treatments given to them by their governments, their health services, scientific people, and so on. And then there were people that didn't. Instead, those other people went down other routes and picked ivermectin, I think, something like that. Anyway, and free speech applied there as a value mechanism. I'm really making a hash of this. Free speech seems to be currently all opinions are as valid as all other opinions, for one. And then these things I've been saying just now as two, which is I have the right to say absolutely bloody anything. So, what's the impact of this set of thinking? Well, in the argumentation realm, where we have two, let's say I ask you a question: is it raining outside? Well, we can look out the window, right? No, it's not raining. So, is it raining outside? We can ask two different people. One can say, no, it's not raining. We can look out the window and we can see observably it is not raining. The other buddy can say, yes, it is raining. Yeah. To me, it seems like we are at a point now where the value in the statement from the guy that said it is raining and the value in the statement of the guy who said it isn't raining, free speech types seem to want to treat both of those as having the same value. Well, that's evident. That's a bit stupid, right? One is true, one is false. One response is true, one response is false. So that's interesting. And then that I'm making real balls of this. Start again. Free speech seems to be my right to say anything, including lie, right? Including to make shit up, to ignore the evidence, etc. So in this argument where we're looking out the window, both, this is really difficult, both arguments where it's raining and it's not raining, they're both equally true, must be treated with as much respect as each other, as the other one. But then where does that lead? What does that mean? If both of them can say what they like, but one is going to be given more credence than the other one. Okay. Free speech seems to be, remember at the beginning of this, I said I was going to talk about what free speech currently is and what free speech perhaps could become. Okay, so back to what free speech currently is. Free speech seems to be the right to say whatever the hell you like, whether it's true or false or defamatory or whatever. Okay. I don't agree with that particular way of doing free speech. Of course, anybody should be able to say anything without limits, of course. But if you are spreading, oh God, this is where the COVID shit comes in. If you are spreading information that is going to cause public harm, should you be able to? There's one. Should I be able to go on the internet and call somebody a paedophile who isn't? No. Should I be able to run around using the N-word? No, for fuck's sake. Should I be able to start saying horrible, slanderous things about Jews or Arabs or anybody? For God's sake, no. So now we're on to the bit about what perhaps free speech needs to become. Free speech as a premise is fantastic because it is like one of those basic it's one of those basic societal tenets, right? In a society, everybody has the right to be valued on their merits rather than their skin color or their religion or their gender or their sexuality. So that's one. Society, your value ought to be on your merits and yourself not those four things. Number two, you ought to be able to have enough to eat, have enough water, somewhere to live. And then the free speech part is also is sort of baked into all of that in society. But then we have to think. So free speech is the beginning. Free speech is the first point on a long, 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 long line. This is the biggest load of rubbish. Somebody's going to see this one day and they're going to laugh, but I don't care because it's important. Free speech, free speech, free speech. If you have a hierarchy, you have a bunch of workers, and the workers are being treated badly by their company. They're not being paid properly. They are not being treated properly. There is no health and safety. Free speech should make it a possibility or facilitate the workers being able to say publicly, our boss treats us like crap. I lost a finger the other day in the office on the chopping machine because there were no guards. That is punching up. It is the little people using their power of speech to punch up against the big person with the power. That's important. That's very, very important. It should be free speech between two equals in society. If one is unhappy with the other, he ought to be able to say so, or she ought to be able to say so. There we go. When things become difficult is when free speech is punching downwards, where the one with all the power is able to say lots and lots and lots of things about the one with no power. And that is where I think we get into difficulty. Excuse me. And that is where free speech gets a bit iffy. For example, in a almost entirely white society, free speech could include the right to run around yelling N-word, P-word, all these other horrific words, which are designed to make the minority group feel small, or to feel like they aren't part of society, or they are not loved in society, or trusted, or any of those things. So it's the majority against the minority. And more importantly, it is scrap that bit for a sec. But the point is that's punching down. Yes, you have a small group of people with less power than a large group of people who are being picked on. And you could argue free speech. I ought to be able to call that person any racial slur I like. But this is where I start to question the direction of free speech. The term free speech to me at this point seems to ignore status in society. There we go. Now I've cracked the fucker. But that's what it is. That's what it seems. So when we had these two people on GB News today, and I believe it was yesterday, I'm a little unsure of the dates, but bear with me. speaking incredibly appallingly about that lady from Politics Joe. How can we describe that in my new model with status in it? Okay, so GB News is a news body. Let's do that without the fingers. GB News is a news body with clout. Therefore, it has more status than potentially she does as a reporter. So the free speech, the free speech, I'm talking such unbelievable rubbish. I am going to have to stop this, but this is interesting. I am starting to come out with a model. If we can replace free speech in its current form, which to me seems to be person A is talking at person B, person B is not allowed to kind of respond. All person A is doing is yakking, right? They're both equals. That seems to be the current model of how people see free speech. It is the right of person A be able to say whatever the hell they like to person B without repercussion. That's a problem. We need to replace that model of free speech with a more nuanced one, which includes societal hierarchy. Person A might be if person A is of a higher status than person B, for whatever reason, they need to use some nous, whereas person B perhaps can get away with saying more. If it's the other way around, if person A, you see what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to install status, the idea of status into free speech. Obviously, status is a terrifically subjective idea. This is quite an interesting one. All right, look, I'm actually going to leave this up on YouTube. I think this could be the first of many videos. I think I need to think about this more, but I think the idea in its current form of free speech is not nuanced enough, and I don't like that. I'm not happy with that. And I think it needs a rethink. All right, well, there we go. My first proper video. God help us all. I am kidding, of course. Thank you.